to the Polkcast. I'm Courtney.
And I'm Lisa. And this is our very first episode. So Courtney, tell us a little bit about what the Polkcast is.
Yeah, so the Polkcast is an opportunity for us to connect with all employees. Regardless of job sites or office location, this format is really set up just for us to learn from one another and connect with each other.
So we'll talk to somebody each month, and then after we talk with them and interview them, Courtney and I will kind of sit down and debrief and give you all some key learning points to take away with you. And who do we interview first?
Yeah, so we have John Lewis, Director of Labor in the DFW area, as our very first interview.
Awesome. Let's go do it.
Just to get us started, would you mind telling us a little bit about your current role at Polk and kind of how you ended up getting to where you currently are?
My current role is a general superintendent or / director of labor here at Polk Mechanical. Got this position about 20 years ago because one of the gentlemen that worked here decided to open up his own business. And I was kind of in line for this role. I was hoping to get this role, and we went down and tested for it, which was me and about 7 or 8 other gentlemen with the company. And I got a phone call a couple weeks after that saying that I got the position. So I've been in that position now since 2000, even though the inception of Polk was in 2003 from the previous company before. So been doing it ever since. Really enjoy it.
What do you most enjoy about it?
Meeting all the new people that come in. I've went through thousands of people since I've been here as far as hiring, going out to different locations, schools, and wherever to try to recruit people. Talking to all the young kids, some of the older gentlemen that come in here, seeing people that I haven't seen in 10 or 20 years that come in that are applying for a job now that's been moving around and wasn't satisfied, and it's pretty neat. I enjoy it. You see all walks of life. I've seen people that come in that was real young when they were 18, 19, and now they're in their 30s and 40s and whatever, and have families and careers, and I enjoy it. That's what keeps me here.
Awesome. Well, John, what do you think sets Polk apart from other companies?
Working for Polk and the executive team here has really driven my thoughts to new heights. Seeing what the executives do here and the training with the kids and what they're willing to put out money-wise to help to get better and is great. I've never seen that anywhere before. I know a lot of companies in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. A lot of friends of mine work for different mechanical companies, and when people come in and interview and talk about coming to work here, and I explain to them what we do, the other companies don't do that. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a few that do, but that Polk really stands out from everything that I can see all through the years. Like you wouldn't believe, they really care about their people. And that keeps me here when it's fun to work for a company that for people who care. Makes a big difference if you don't want to get up and be miserable going, man, I don't want to go to work today. I just, that's not a good feeling for anybody. And here it's fun to get up and go to work because we see something new every day. Everything's changing, ever-changing environment right here. And it feels good to work for a company that cares. And I do care, and I care about all these guys that work here and everybody in the offices. We do everything to support every group in this organization. We help service helps us. We help accounting, we help HR, the things. We have Christmas parties getting ready to start. If they're not getting information, we jump in with both feet and help them and knock that stuff out to get that off their plates, because we got a lot going on right now, and it works as a team. Works real good.
So with all the new hires you see coming in every single week, what would your piece of advice be to them, kind of with how things work here and how quickly we move and all of that?
I would say the new hires, when they go through orientation, 99% of the time I'll be able to sit down with those guys and talk to them and kind of figure out what their career path is going to be. I try to encourage them to get enrolled in the schooling because I really want to bring in, we try to, is the kids graduating, getting out of school that don't have a career path yet. And we want to guide them in the right direction, whether it's plumbing, pipe fitting, sheet metal. Explain to them that we pay for the school and come to work every day. Quit worrying about what somebody else is doing. Worry about yourself. Don't worry about the 50 cents or the dollar because the money will come with it down the road. As long as you're here every day and you're willing to learn, you want to go to school, we're taking care of you. You want to work for a company that's willing to take care of you, help you with your 401k, your benefits. And not too many companies out there do that. And I try to encourage those guys, as long as you stick around and let us guide you in the right direction, at the end of the day, in 10 years from now or whatever, you're going to be glad of what I told you and what the company does for you, because it works. There's a lot of good examples in there in this office that guys that's been here forever, and look at the positions that they're in today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they want to go out and be able to put their kids through school, have nice truck, house, all that stuff. It's here. The construction industry is a money-making machine if you want it to be. College is not always the answer. It is for some people. Financially, it's not for a lot of people, but the construction is a good trade to get into. And if you make something out of it, you're going to get something out of it at the end of the day. And it is a good career, because I'm a perfect example of doing it for 47 years, and I still enjoy it. I mean, we have the challenges and the everyday struggles of what goes on in the world today, but at the end of the day, we're in here working, we're making things happen, and it's fun.
There's a lot of generational differences, right? Or we don't have a lot of young people in the field right now. And so, especially for either people that are supervising the younger crowd or that younger crowd coming in specifically, what advice would you give for being like successful in the field? It's labor, right? It's hard work. And so, what would your advice be?
Stay off the phones. Put your 8 hours in a day. Listen to what your supervisors or your foremans are telling you to do, and you'll learn. If you're always worried about scrolling through and seeing this and seeing that on the phone, you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of good people that want to work, and you can tell as soon as we hire somebody in, when they start calling in to me going, "Hey, I heard you have CEF school or whatever. I'm interested. I'd like to get signed up for it." That tells me those kids want to work. But when I hire them in and then they're already missing a day or two a week, and my supervisors are calling in telling me that, hey, they're on their phones, they're just not paying attention, they're not safe, then we pull them off to the side. And we got a good retention program going on here. We want to retain our people, so we talk about that, and we pull them in and counsel them and try to get them on the right track. And it works. As long as you have the right people talking to them, then they'll stick around. When they know that you care, then they wake up. And that's what we're looking at, is to try to keep the people that care, and we'll keep them busy. If they don't care, then I can't fix that, but we sure try.
You spoke about how, we're focused on retention currently, and how sometimes you'll bring an employee in and kind of have a conversation with them. Most commonly, what does that conversation look like? Like, what problems may come from that, and then what solutions, or how do you guys kind of have that conversation in order to sort out what the underlying issue may be?
Well, if I'm having some of the kids come in that's missing a day or two a week, or coming in late or leaving early, we try to pull them off to the side, and first of all try to get into their heads to find out what is actually going on with that person. I don't personally get in and ask them what their problems are. I always go in and ask them, what can I do for you to help you get here? Do you need help on anything? Most of the time they'll spit it right out and tell you what's wrong. And then we'll tell them, or I will, or I'll tell my supervisors. Then if they need time off to go take care of personal stuff, then let them go take time off. Go get that stuff fixed, and then come on back and let's go back to work. If they need tools, I'll go ahead and get with the tool department, and we'll buy them tools and just payroll deduct whatever it takes for them to be financially okay on that and successful in their job. Medical reasons and family, if they need to take off and take care of their family, go take care of your family. That comes number one. So we don't sit back and judge any of these guys. We know it's hard to get good manpower in today's market, but we're willing to help those guys. And if they need help, all they got to do is ask. We have the EAP program here, and it works. I've had guys that really needed help. We sent them through that program, and they come back like a new person. So I can't say enough about all the stuff that we do for these guys, but we appreciate all those guys, and we have built a good team here at Polk, and we're just growing and growing and growing, and it's great.
So if someone, wanted maybe like a fast track to a foreman or superintendent role, what would you tell them? Like, what is your best path to get there as quickly as possible?
Learn everything that you can. Get the blueprints, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask. If you go up and ask questions and they don't want to respond to you and tell you, then I always tell those guys when they hire it in, if you're not getting the information that you need, because a lot of our foremen and superintendents are so busy out there, it's not that they don't feel that they have time to teach them or whatever. It's just they're so busy and they get in a moment that they just don't think about it. Mm-hmm. So I have them call me, and then I walk them through that stuff and get them all the information they need. But it's all information. It's ask, and if you're not getting it, ask again. We'll get it to you. There's hundreds of years of experience in this building, and anything you need to learn or want to know, we'll get it for you. As long as they're asking and they're willing to do it, we'll make it happen for them.
So what would you say, what is doing the right thing for you?
Doing the right thing is...
Or do you have like a good example?
Well, doing the right thing to me is not only work, but outside of work. And if you do something, say something, whatever, and you don't feel comfortable, at least me, in my own head, I know right then I'm not doing the right thing. And you want to treat people, and people treat you the same way. And I think that it falls hand in hand with taking care of your customers, doing the right thing. That, let's say, for example, we did something on a job and the warranty ran out on it a year ago or 2 years back, and they call and they got a leak, and we go out there and look, and we can actually tell that it wasn't installed properly for some reason and it caused a leak. We can look at that and see, and doing the right thing to me is we're going to go ahead and fix that leak, and we're going to do whatever it takes to get the customer or the owner, whoever it is, happy, fix it, and just get out of there. We're not going to go back here and charge the customer for something that really wasn't installed properly. To me, things like that is doing the right thing. Same thing in here in the office. If I'm down here talking to people and say accounting department, HR, the project manager, whatever, and they say certain things and, hey, we'll go do this or do that, and it doesn't sound right, then I will say, hey, let's not do that. Let's do this to make it right.
Can you think of like a memorable or a funny standout moment from your time here?
That's pretty neat. I can look back 30 years back and drive through downtown Dallas and see all the buildings in Dallas and Fort Worth that I built when there was nothing there before, and you look back and go, man, I did that 30 years ago. I did that 25 years ago. And time's flying, man. It's flying quick, but it's been a fun ride.
It's cool to be able to look back and see that you had a big part in something like that.
Oh, yeah. I see it every time I'm out on the road somewhere in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, because if you do this trade long enough, you're going to be everywhere. You're going to be on different streets, different neighborhoods, downtown Dallas, Fort Worth, Waco, Austin, whatever. And sooner or later, you're going to run across an area, you're going to go, man, I worked in that building 10, 15 years ago. And then all the memories come back to you just like you were there yesterday. It's pretty neat.
It's cool.
I enjoy it.
Here's a good one. The zombie apocalypse is coming. Who are the 3 people you want on your team?
Oh, that's a great question.
I don't even know what that is.
The zombie apocalypse? Briefly, I'll just do a little bit. World's ending. There's an infection happening. People are turning into zombies left and right. We don't really know what's going on, but you're trying to fight these zombies to stay alive. You get to have 3 other people to fight the zombies and live in this new world. Who would you pick?
Talk about with a company or just anybody?
Just
It could be
anybody.
anyone. I prefer to know who they are, so don't pick like people I don't know. But
Wow.
famous people are people at Polk.
Well, I think I would pick out the biggest boys in this
The
company.
biggest boys.
That's what I would do.
Strategy.
I'm taking Brian Blackwell because he can grill for us. He can smoke for us.
Yeah, I'd probably take Jerry Owens. They can take on as big as he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian Blackwell.
Brian.
He can cook for us.
Yeah. Who else? You get one more.
That's a hard one. Probably Mike Manry.
You take Mike Mannery?
Yeah, I'd take Mike.
You guys
Mike.
are sticking together.
Yeah, we've been together for a long time, and one thing I can say about all of those guys that we can count on each other,
Yeah.
and we always have for 20-some years. It's been a fun ride.
John,
Yeah, thank you.
that was fun.
So that was a really good conversation with John.
Yeah, John definitely has, lots of years of experience and he's worked with many different types of people. So he definitely brings a lot of knowledge to the table. So what was really like your main kind of takeaway or tidbit from the conversation with John?
I think that there was like an overall common theme with his stories that he was sharing, and that's 1, Polk invests in its people, and 2, that you have to invest yourself too, invest in yourself as well. And that managers have to invest in their people. There's a lot of like investment, right? Polk cares about their people, supervisors should care about their people. And then you as an individual, you need to know where you want your career to grow and how you help yourself grow.
Yeah. It makes me think about actually one of the workshops that we did. Wilton Jordan was the one who brought this up, this idea of as a manager, you need to make sure that, just like how money works, you have to invest in before you can withdraw out. So money and people, different topics, but that idea still kind of stays and rings true, is that you have to invest in your people if you want to withdraw, exceptional performance. You can't just ask for that without giving something to them first, without showing them that you're investing in them.
Yeah, I agree.
At Polk, we really are a people company. The people are the thing that set us apart and make us different from the rest. So how can we, as managers and as employees, make sure that we're setting our employees and ourselves up for the best success? So there's some things that managers can do that hopefully can help, whether you have a new employee on the team or an employee that's worked with you for quite some time. And that is just number 1, first and foremost, is to set clear expectations.
From like day 1, right?
Day 1, right, yeah. So people, you can't hold them to expectations that they don't know are there.
Right.
So that's a pretty big one, just being clear and making sure that you're providing what you hope the outcome is at the end of the day. Another one is to encourage learning and development.
I agree with that.
Obviously, we like that, right? So investing in your people, giving them opportunities to learn and grow, whether that be in their current role or stretch projects for growth. That could be cross-training in different trades or in an office type of setting, trying something out, a project, or working on something that maybe isn't in their normal day-to-day, letting people have the opportunity to grow.
Yeah, and I think, we have some structured learning in place as a department. We're working on creating more content for our employees, but especially from a trade perspective, we do have CEF as well, and that's a very structured program. And like you were saying, I think John mentioned it too, is just because you start off in plumbing doesn't mean that you have to only do plumbing for the rest of your career. You have the opportunity to cross-train or become a master in that position.
And that's actually, there's some information out there about how that's the number one thing that employees are looking for. This new generation of employees in their role is the opportunity to grow within the company, grow within the organization. So growth is really important.
Absolutely.
And third thing that managers can do is just to promote the proper environment. So promote teamwork, promote a positive setting. Obviously, the work that occurs in the construction industry is hard work, but when you have a team mindset and, when we have Polk Nation as our team, all working together and helping one another out, it makes it a lot easier to take on the hard challenges. And John talked about this actually too, how he likes to help out other departments. So he helps out HR a lot. We help him out, accounting. He does whatever he can to help, make the superintendent's jobs easier. And we all kind of think in that way. It takes the load off from any one person or any one department, because you're all wanting to help out for the greater good.
Yes.
Last but not least, is to reward achievements and behavior that supports the company values and our guiding principles. So customers for life, do the right thing, make it safe, and count on us. If you see an employee who's exhibiting those or, who's done something really well, make sure you acknowledge them and recognize them. That goes a really long way. It doesn't have to be financially, even just saying, thanks for putting in the extra work for this customer, or hey, thanks for looking out for your other team members and making sure that we were all safe. Just the verbal recognition or a pat on the back goes a long way for people.
Yeah, that's something we talk about in retention workshop a little bit too, is it doesn't have to be elaborate, but as long as you are staying connected with your employees and that you have an awareness, right? Like it's important for you to have an awareness of what your employees are doing, what they're achieving, if they're having struggles so that you can help them, but also that you can see, you mentioned stretch projects earlier, like if you give them that opportunity to go in and recognize if they've done a good job there and to maybe give them an additional project or some more responsibility. So that verbal recognition, but then also maybe rewarding them with another challenge that gets them excited.
Yeah, there's just a few ideas maybe to get started. So if that's from the manager side of the world, I guess then what can an employee do in order to better invest in themselves?
So we spend a ton of time at work, and it's important for us to also invest in our own career development. And just like you mentioned that supervisors need to set clear expectations for their employees, I think that it's important for us to set our own short-term and long-term goals as well and kind of create a roadmap just to kind of help identify what skills and experiences you need to acquire. And with that, just to reiterate what John was saying, ask. We have over 100 years of experience from all the people that work here, probably hundreds of years. I mean, if you think about everybody.
People, yeah.
And so just ask the question. You've kind of identified now where you may have some learning opportunities or some growth opportunities, and go and ask somebody. Maybe you go to somebody in the trade that you want to cross-train in and use them as a mentor to kind of get you started. And then the next thing I would say is asking for feedback. So once you've kind of assessed yourself, you can also ask your manager or even your coworkers for feedback. How are you performing? It's something that we kind of expect people, especially our managers, to just give to us, and they may. It might not be as often as we want or need, though. And so it's definitely okay to go and ask for that feedback, and then take it back to your roadmap and see where you might need to adjust. And then the last thing I would say is just proactively learning new skills, which really ties into those other two things, right? Once you kind of know where your areas of opportunities are, what are the training opportunities available to you? We've kind of already mentioned some. We have CEF, we have honing skills, we have the stuff that, we're starting to develop even more with learning and development. And if there's a need for something, that's where you can ask us, your learning and development team, like, hey, whether you're a supervisor or an individual contributor, hey, I've seen this opportunity where we all struggle with Excel or, whatever the case may be,
right.
Where we might be able to identify an area for us to create some content. So I think it all kind of ties into what you were saying, what Wilton says, right?
Yeah.
You can't just make a withdrawal from your bank. You have to put money into your bank. You have to make those deposits first. And that's the same thing with the people around you. So whether you're a supervisor or not, you really want to invest in yourself and those around you. Before you can make those withdrawals and ask things of people, you have to put the deposits in. You'll get what you put into it.
Right.
Yeah. So this was our first.
There it is.
This was our first podcast. Our first Polkcast. Yeah. So this is something that we are planning to do on probably a monthly basis. We're excited to get around and introduce you to different people throughout Polk Nation and find some fun learning opportunities along the way.
And if you're passionate about it, you know who to talk to. We can get you on the podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
On the Polkcast.
Give us a call.
All right. Well, thank you all.
Thank you. Thanks, Courtney.
Bye, Lisa.